So in this match, we're flying the F4U4, the 4.3 Corsair. And I'm going to demonstrate here how patience can pay off. All right, just waiting for the right opportunity to attack the enemy, and how this can pretty much, help you win games that otherwise would have been lost. So we've run into an interesting predicament here. The problem with this 4.3 Corsair is that its climb rate when you're fighting against opponents that is not that good. You will find yourself on par with enemy aircraft or with enemy aircraft above you by the time you get into the engagement zone, which is what happens here. Now, the interesting thing here is that for the first time in like, I don't know, 20 games, the majority of the enemy team decided to go right this time. They're right. So we are running into, about half the enemy team right here, 7 of them. There's actually 2 that's actually quite close, who's already in the middle, slightly to their right, which is our left. So we are kind of surrounded at this point, and our entire team has, well, compared to most teams, this one actually did take the time to climb, so we got a little bit lucky there. They are a little bit more spread out, but they usually took the normal route of going straight into the map or slightly to the right. So we have to make a decision. What are we going to do? Considering that we are at the altitude disadvantage right now, and this is the second time that we're flying the Corsairs for this session that we were playing, I usually very rarely fly this Corsair, the 4.31. So I'm not entirely sure what the full strengths of it are. All I know is that it's fast and it can retain its speed in maneuvers very well, but its maneuverability compared to the lower Corsairs isn't very good. So with that in mind, I make the decision to disengage. It's that simple. We're outnumbered. We are definitely outgunned. The Act-9T just popped up in the back there, so that makes it 8. So it's pretty much half the enemy team right here. And now I just say, you know what? We will come back and fight another day. So if we break off into a left turn to disengage, Pap is the one that's up there to the top. He's a little bit out of position. He's gonna get into some problems here because he's out of position. He's gonna be lagging behind, and the enemy is gonna be able to get in on him first. But me and flank here, uh, we got good distance, good separation, and we're getting our speed now. And what we're doing here is that we're gonna try and turn slightly left to get to the side of our team, which is already coming into the middle, and they're about to put pressure on the enemy blob that's behind us here. So we just need to extend it out. We definitely know that a lot of these folks are just gonna get bored and just leave us alone and just turn away. And that's just what happens. So our team comes into the middle. They're now moving in to engage. The enemy now loses interest in us and then turns into our team. And that gives us the opportunity here now, since we've reset ourselves, to turn back in and then get stuck into the furball. We won't have an altitude advantage, but we will have our speed going into it, and the furball as it develops, it usually drags down all of the high flyers lower. So we won't have to deal with anybody that's above us, just at our altitude, which is completely fine. The benefits of doing a disengagement like that is it gives you time to get your squad reorganized. Pat was out of position throughout most of that beginning opening, but now he's right next to us, and here the fun begins. So we tag team the Yak there. I turn in to keep pressure on him. Once I see that he breaks in down low, I leave him be. Swing back around to the left. Pep decides to follow me instead on that. Flank is going all in, trying to chase down this triple group here. The XP55, that one gives us a little bit of problems, but we get him in the end. Now the question at this point is, what do we do? Considering that these guys are still the highest, but they're going away it might be wise to just drop in and knock out the furball. But the enemy decides to turn back in after they see the 109s extending out. So once we see that, we regroup up here and then move in to engage again. And considering where we were at the very start of the game, we now have a slight altitude advantage. We've got our speed, so this fight is very much in our favor. So flank goes in on a 185. I pick up the XP 55. No need to double team one dude like that. Get shots on the XP 55. I think I knock out one of his flaps. Flank continues his attack. Now here Pap doesn't see the 55. He tried to go in with flank on the 185, but then makes a turn and basically he's caught here. He did not see the 55 in time, and he definitely did the wrong moves there. So now we're telling him to dive to get out of there because we can't help him. We need to finish the fight here. So in a situation like this, if your teammate's like that screwed, you have to keep in mind the big picture because we need to win the game. You can't just sacrifice everything to save your teammate. Sometimes you're gonna need to make plays like that. So me and Flank stay up and we knock out the 185. I believe we knock out both these bandits here, the Yak and the Typhoon. And once that's done, we can deal with the 55 later because he's already on the deck trying to kill Pap, and he does get Pap right there. So Flank dives in on the Yak. I single out the Typhoon. Yeah, there's nothing they can do now. We've got altitude, we've got speed, and they're all down low. So it's just a matter of time before this game is over. Yak pitches up in the last ditch attempt to try get something out of it. And he's smoked right there. Easy. Easiest setup so far. So we reform. Turn back to pursue the enemy, which is now trying to book it out of there. Flank leads the attack again. So that means I stay up. Just in case somebody that we didn't identify earlier comes in. It'll be my job to handle that. So I'm playing it safe and conservative here. There's no need to really force everything all at the same time right now. Typhoon hangs himself trying to get some shots up. He goes down there. And then I decide to continue with the attack because I'm there already, why not? And that's the end of that. Pretty sure that's the game prolongs itself a little bit longer, but I think that's about it really. So yeah, just waiting for the enemy to make a mistake. If you're in a very bad position, there's no need to push the bad position. You just disengage, reset, and then come back later. People, there is no patience in this game anymore. It's not like in the past where games were really long and people didn't mind playing the long games. No, that's not the case anymore. Everyone wants things really fast. Things need to be done just like that. So it's very easy to play the long game, draw it out a little bit, let them get bored, and then once they make a mistake, you hit them.